Hello, my Whoop friends. In this video, I would like to briefly introduce the new 702 36,000 kV motors from Betafpv.
The new Champion Edition 0702 36,000 kV motors are now built with better materials according to Betafpv, and they do have a shorter motor shaft, which is very nice to see, as well as double ball bearings. You can see it here. Ball bearing on the top and ball bearing on the bottom, and some very tiny E-clips. The magnets on the motors are outwards curved, which is a little bit strange to me, why Betafpv went back from those inward curved magnets to those magnets, but I think it's probably for a reason.
The second important improvement from my point of view is the new improved 702 and 802 motors, which according to Betafpv should now be a bit more durable and efficient. Here as well, time will tell whether that is really the case. However, I trust Betafpv here because even the previous motors were clearly better than the ones before that. I think the improvement will not be quite as big this time, but we will see. For beginner FPV pilots, the differences are probably not noticeable in flight. But for pro and elite race pilots, I think they are. I have now flown these motors a few times, and they definitely have the highest kV I have ever flown on a 702 motor. The 702 36,000 kV motors from Betafpv are not miracle motors either, but the kV is definitely very high, which I personally like, and many other pilots probably will as well. The efficiency is quite good compared to the high kV, I would say. I can't say much more yet. At the moment, I only know that Betafpv's kV rating seems to be roughly accurate and that the power and efficiency were within the expected range. In other words, the power and speed of the Betafpv 736,000 kV motors are very good. But unfortunately, the amp draw and the resulting voltage sag are as well. That means you can bring your Lipos below 3 volts in flight with these motors if you stay at full throttle for too long. This damages your Lipos and reduces their lifespan. Good throttle management and a constant eye on the voltage display in the on-screen display during punch-outs are therefore mandatory with these motors. The hover Flighttime specification of the Betafpv Air 65-2 Champion Edition Tiny Whoop, which comes with these 36,000 kV motors, is also accurate. There were no surprises here either. So I'm curious to see what I can tell you about these motors in the future after I've flown them longer and, most importantly, crashed more with them. However, I don't expect any big surprises. At the moment, I am very satisfied with the Betafpv 702 36,000 kV motors, respectively with the Betafpv Air 65-2 Champion Edition Tiny Whoop, which I will soon make a video about. Happy flying, my Whoop friends! Which version you should buy, Champion, Racing, or Freestyle? The first important thing you need to know is that only the Champion edition of the Air 65-2 and Air 75-2 whoops has directly soldered motors. That means if you want to fly with directly soldered motors and are not willing to remove the motor plugs yourself, then the Champion edition is the right choice for you. And if you absolutely want motor plugs on your tiny whoop, then the Freestyle or Racing edition is the right choice for you. If you want to fly with motor plugs and still want the best possible performance, then I recommend using a contact enhancer. It probably doesn't matter which one you use. For example, you can use Stabilant 22 from DW Electrochemicals Limited, which is very economical when diluted and has a fascinating way of working. Or you can use Deox IT from Kaig Laboratories Inc., which is available in different sizes and for different applications. Or you can use NPS Encore from contactenhancer.com, which according to the manufacturer is based on a completely new and unique nanotechnology. Probably any other contact enhancer will also work to some degree to slightly improve performance, or rather reduce the electrical resistance of the plugs and especially improve the corrosion resistance of the motor plugs to prevent or delay so-called contact corrosion. The second important thing you need to know is that only the Champion edition of the Air 65-2 and Air 75-2 Whoops has double ball bearing motors. So if long motor lifespan is important to you and a priority, then the Champion edition is the right choice for you. The third important thing is power. From my experience, I can say that all three editions have enough power for all flight maneuvers. In general, you can say that more kV provides more power, and less kFi provides slightly less power but more efficiency, and therefore more flight time. That brings us straight to the last important point, flight time. It gets a bit more complicated here. You might be wondering why the Champion edition still achieves such a good hover flight time. On the one hand, it's because the Champion edition is slightly lighter due to the missing motor plugs and the lighter monopole VTX antenna, which of course has slightly worse reception, and because directly soldered motors are more efficient. That means if all three editions had the same weight and directly soldered motors, then definitely the version with the lowest kV motors would always be the most efficient and would fly the longest. I won't go into detail about the different VTX antennas and propellers, since these are accessories that can be swapped out quickly and do not significantly define the addition of the Whoop. If this video helped you decide which Whoop to buy from Betafpv, I would appreciate it if you use the affiliate link in the video description for your order and for future orders. And if you would like to support my work further, I would appreciate a small donation on Ko-fi.com. The link is also in the video description. Thank you very much for your support, my Whoop friends.
Some additional information can be found in the video description. Please watch my many other tutorials on this YouTube channel if you want to know more about how to modify a tiny Whoop or how to learn FPV flying and racing.